All right. Technical difficulties. Those happen from time to time. Travis Lofka here with the Human Upgrade Project. Episode, let me turn this volume down a little bit. Hopefully that's better. Episode number 6. But if you're looking at the number, it's actually 5. Right? Anyways, it took me a minute here. Facebook wasn't playing nice. Just doing their Facebook thing or something, right? So, before I get into tonight's episode, quick random squared. Today's national holiday was Dance Like a Chicken Day. I hope you participated and partook of aforementioned Dance Like a Chicken Day. I didn't know it was a thing. We still have hour and 45 minutes, so there's still an opportunity. There's always a chance to do it. Tomorrow is National Chocolate Chip Day. I wish it was National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day because that would be epic. So, enough of that. I like doing random squared in the beginning, so let me know if you like the random squared and you like having the, hey Peter, real quick, since you're on, how's it going? And is my volume okay? I keep pegging this meter out. Let me know if it's really loud and not good, and I'll turn this down a little bit more. But I like doing random squared at the beginning because, one, it's kind of interesting to see the bizarre national holidays, and it gives me a chance to let people come on. Man. 2 birds, 1 stone. How's that for optimization? Hopefully, awesome. Thank you, Peter. So, and Yuri's on. How's it going, Yuri? Yeah, this is great. I'm going to do this every time. Random squared at the beginning. I just said that. Anyways, tonight's episode, I thought of this. Well, the title of the episode is, what is the title of this episode? Grandma's Glitter and the Best Things I've Done Recently for Better Sleep. Because those of you that have been watching know that I'm focused on sleep right now as part of my Human Upgrade Project. It's kind of a sub-project, right? Because that's what the Human Upgrade Project is, basically an umbrella. Think of it like a big business, but a really good business, a really good business that everybody likes. And it has all these little sub-businesses underneath it that do a lot of really fun, awesome things that people also like. So it's just like a big happy family of upgrade projects. Anyways, the reason I came up with this title, one, it was pretty random. And tonight I was at ballet and I'm still in my ballet gear. But I'm at ballet, right? And we're stretching and doing our thing, warming up and all that. And we're on the what's it called? What's this stuff called? We're on the floor, basically, stretching. And I noticed, so somebody said something about all the glitter. Because there's a lot of glitter. Because it's like 99% girls and women at the place, right? So, a lot of glitter. And what I realized about that was I had glitter all over me. I think I still have glitter on me. The funny thing is, though, I've been doing it for long enough now that I don't notice it anymore. So it's really funny if you think about it, how there are things that we do in our lives once we get accustomed to them and once we get used to them, we sometimes take them for granted, but a lot of times we just don't pay attention to that specific thing anymore, like the glitter. I'll have it, like, this stuff doesn't go, I don't know what you know about glitter, but I'll just tell you this, it doesn't go away. It multiplies, it gets everywhere. I don't know who invented it, but they were probably, the people that invented glitter were probably like, hey, like an evil scientist in a lab going, oh boy, this stuff's going to be really pretty, but people are going to hate it. I don't really hate it. It's just, it gets everywhere. So I realized, I was like, oh, I have it on me. And then I do see it from time to time, but I don't pay attention to it anymore because it's just everywhere all the time from being at dance class and all of that. So it was just kind of a weird aha that sometimes I don't pay attention to the things that I used to pay attention to in the same way that I need to pay attention to them so that I can pay attention and become even better at the thing I'm doing by paying attention. So hopefully that makes sense. Awesome. Peter, I'm glad you like the random squared. So I'm just kind of bouncing around right now. Started with glitter. I'm going to grandma's now. Grandma's are awesome, right? You can't go wrong with grandma's. And this is, once again, this will all make sense. I should preface all of this with that in the beginning, that this will actually have something to do with sleep and human upgrade projects and human optimization in the beginning. So people aren't like, what's this dude on the human upgrade project talking about glitter and grandmas for? What does that have to do with anything? So first, we know glitter is all about paying attention to the things that you get too used to. But grandmas, here, let me tell you this story about this. So a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, my grandma got really, really sick. And she had to go to the hospital. I mean, it wasn't like, she wasn't on the verge of death or anything, but she was pretty sick. And I was the only one at the time in my family that had the ability and do the kind of work that I do, that I was able to go down and work on my laptop and help take care of her, or to take care of her, because I was the only one who went down. So, because she lives by herself, or she did at that time. So I go down there and I spend a couple weeks with her and basically teach her all. I went in and started teaching her all about health and a little bit about fitness and all that kind of stuff. It was mainly healthy eating, and we did a lot of talking about like mindset and positive thinking and all of that. And it wasn't any kind of woo-woo stuff or whatever. I mean, my grandma's super old-fashioned and all that, so it's just straightforward, kind of like, yeah, why complain, because it's not going to do any good anyways if you did. That's kind of my grandma's philosophy, and I love it. So I go through this 2 weeks, and I'm buying like green juice powder, and I'm getting her like filtered bottled water and making her these concoctions, because she was up all night like coughing and hacking, and like when I showed up, she was just in her chair, just sleeping, and the whole time just super tired, because at night she lays down. You know, when you get a cold, you lay down and you just cough and cough and cough and cough and hack and all that. Well, that's not fun, but it's really not fun when you're like 93 or 94. So it has a little more effect then. So I make her up all these concoctions and all this stuff, and I'm like, this one won't taste good, this one's not bad, this is whatever. And she's like, well, make me better. I'm like, yes, it will make you better. So a little side note there, in just telling somebody that helps, and she believed it, and it was true because it's good stuff. So I had these concoctions with like apple cider vinegar and honey and cayenne pepper and all these things to help break up the mucus and do all this stuff. And it worked, right? So I spend 2 weeks with her, and we go through all this stuff. And while we're doing this, she already had a set of exercises that she was doing, physical exercises like standing up, walking around, doing all this stuff for her balance and all that. So we would do that every day, and just play cribbage. I don't know if you know what cribbage is, but do all this stuff. Well, about 6 months ago, she got kind of sick again, and my mom came up, and my grandma just lives a couple hours away, or did, and my mom comes up and is like taking care of grandma, and I get down there and they're like, hey, we both decided grandma's going to come live with me, and that's my mom talking. And I'm like, great. My mom was like 10 or 12 hours away, and I didn't go see grandma as much as I should have. So now I have to drive all the way down there. But while she was in the hospital, I go to see her in the hospital, and she's doing great, up walking around, doing her thing and all that, 'cause she just had some respiratory thing going on. But while she was in there, they gave her some breathing exercises. Well, they didn't give her breathing exercises. They gave her this thing, I can't remember the name of it, that you breathe in and out of, and it has a little gauge in it, and you can measure your lung capacity. So I saw that she was using that, and she was very diligent about it. Oh, you know what? Let me back up. Sorry. I'm going to back up one step. After I left, when I first helped her get better the first time, I came back up and I called her and I talked to her, and biggest thing that I told her, people ask me a lot about nutrition and stuff, and the biggest thing that I told her was drink a lot of water and don't eat a lot of sugar. Those are like two of my main things. I have other stuff, but... And while I was there, I made sure to ask her after every time we ate something, how do you feel now, like physically or mentally? You know, do you feel okay? And then when she'd wake up in the morning, I'd ask her how she slept, if she slept at all. And by doing that, I got her a little bit conditioned into paying attention to being aware of how things affect her. So I call her up a month or two after I leave, and I'm talking to her, just talking about random things, how her day was, and the walk she took, and the flowers, and all that. And she mentioned, she's like, oh, by the way, I had dessert last night, and it was this like banana cream pie, and I felt really bad afterwards, and then I didn't sleep very good at all. And that was the one thing that I ate different that day that I don't normally eat. So I'm not going to eat that anymore, or I'm not going to eat as much of it. And I was like, Grandma's a genius. I mean, and the reason I say that is because I tell people this simple stuff a lot, and people are like, yeah, that's a really good idea. And then they don't do anything. So anyways, fast forward to when I went down again before she moved back with my mom. I walk in the hospital room, and it's all that sanitary hospital feel and all that kind of stuff. And she's got her little breathing contraptions and everything, and she's doing good. So I see that she's very diligent about doing her exercises because she's disciplined. She grew up in a time when you had to be, or you died, kind of a thing. So I said, hey, you want me to show you some really good exercises that you can do for your lungs, and it'll make you feel better, give you more energy, and probably help you sleep better too. And she's always cool with it. Any ideas that I've got on making her feel better. So we go through some breathing exercises. I give her some very, very simplified version of the breathing exercises that I do. And she did those while I was there, and I told my mom, when you guys go back, kind of remind her to do the breathing exercises because she needs to build up her lung capacity and all that. Because at one point they had her on oxygen, with the little tubes and the whole thing. So I call my mom a couple weeks after, and I've been checking in and all that, and my mom tells me, she's like, oh no, Grandma remembers every morning to do that, or every night to do that. She makes sure that she does that every single night, no matter what. And she's doing amazing. She's not on her oxygen anymore, and she's all healed up, feeling good. I think she's 96 or 97 now. Still getting around doing her thing. So the reason I mentioned that whole long story, where am I at here? I'm at like 15 minutes. The reason I mentioned that whole long story is because, again, it's about looking at things that you've done, things that you're doing, and how the past and the present is affecting what you're doing. And when I talked to my mom and my grandma on Mother's Day, that's when kind of this all hit me, right? It's like, hello, should pay attention to some of the things you're doing, because the last well, since I actually started this new sleep experiment, even though, because I'm always playing with things and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and this one's been a little iffy. After talking with them, I realized that I needed to actually look at the stuff that was working for me in the past and see if I can adapt that to what I'm doing now and add in the things that I was doing then. So the biggest thing, there are two things that I added in. So I used to go outside. I go into the outsides. How often and how much time do you spend outside? If you have any trouble at all sleeping, how much time do you actually spend outside? And I mean outside like with bare feet, where you're actually like touching the ground, your body, not with just shoes on. And that gets into a whole nother thing that I might get onto at another time when I break out hippie Travis, because I'm a closet hippie. You know, I don't think there's a support group for it, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. So the thing is that it's called grounding. And I was like, this sounds a little weird. And I don't know exactly how it works or any of that kind of stuff. But if you think about it, back in the past, way back when, our ancestors, they all walked around outside, and they were outside more than they were inside. And there's a bunch of benefits to being outside besides just the earth itself. Is the sun. The sun, that's pretty much the biggest one. The sun and the earth and the air and everything else, right? Because you're inside all the time, you're just breathing recycled air. So what I started doing was, I get up now, unfortunately earlier than I want to, but I'm still able to just wake up. And I used to do cold exposure training, and I started doing that again. I live close to a river. Even if I didn't live close to a river, though, I would go for a walk. So what I do is I walk down to the river. When my feet are strong enough or tough enough, I walk down there barefoot. I actually get in the river at like 6:30 in the morning. It's not bad. The water temperature is like 50 degrees, I think, somewhere around there. I've done it in the winter when the water temperature was like 34 or 30. It was chilly. There was ice. So I started doing that. So first thing in the morning, getting sunlight on your skin, sunlight in your eyes, because of all of the benefits of what happens when sun actually hits your eyes, so no sunglasses, and then being in nature. I also go out at lunch and at least go outside, even if I don't walk around barefoot or whatever. Maybe I'll go walk. I've got trees in my backyard. I'm gonna go out tomorrow. I'm gonna go barefoot and I'm gonna go hug a tree. That actually might work. I don't know. So first thing in the morning, going for a walk outside. It takes me about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most, to walk down there, get in the river for like 5 minutes, because that's about all I can do right now, and then walk back. And to take it up a notch, I actually started running down there. It's faster, and supposedly that kind of stuff's good for you. I don't know. In addition to that, my 1 hour before bed, my nighttime protocol before bed is, one, I shut off all technology an hour before bed. So I started doing that. I haven't noticed a huge difference in that, honestly, but I know it does help. It has helped. One of the biggest things I started doing was, right before bed, is stretching. I created a stretching routine that allows me to do ballet and powerlifting together successfully. And I started doing that again because I realized one time when I was doing that stretching routine, but I think when I got finished, I was like, I need a nap. I'm so relaxed and content and just like loose. And one time I actually fell asleep on my mats where I was stretching in my house, not at the gym, although I have wanted to sleep there too. So This one's been a little extra random tonight. I didn't plan on doing all three of these things together at once, but it was basically, it comes down to, if I combine all these into one and I attribute or I link it to how it can improve your sleep, pay attention to what you're doing on a daily basis. Like I said in one of my previous ones, keep a, let me see if I remember the name of it. I came up with it. The Holy Crap, I Had a Great Night's Sleep journal. Or I slept really great journal, something like that. And crap is with a K, by the way, just because. But pay attention to what are the things that you're doing during the day, but also look back in the past. When have you slept really good in the past? Whether it's on vacation or whatever. When was a time that you slept amazingly well and woke up feeling awesome? And what were the things that you did physically? What were the things that you ate? And what were the things that, what was your stress level? What were you thinking about? And then, to the best of your ability, recreate that scenario as well as you can and as often as possible. Along with going outside, because outside's nice. If you haven't been outside, I highly recommend it. Let me see here. I did make a couple notes, but so pay attention, number one. Number two, go outside. Specifically, go outside in the morning without sunglasses and walk around barefoot. Just, if you need to, just pretend you're a hippie. That's what I do. I don't even have the hair for it, but it works. So the third thing is your nighttime ritual, your nighttime routine, and stick to it. It comes down to how important is sleep to you. So with that said, I also have been putting together, consolidating all of my notes on everything. I found notes from 10 years ago. I was like, oh, I didn't realize I still had this. That I had on sleep and energy and all of that good stuff. So I'm consolidating all that information and putting it into a document that at some point I'm going to put into a huge guide and make available. So with that said, I don't know if anybody's still on here or not. I'm at 22. These have been running about 20 minutes. I've been pretty good about that, I think. So with that said, I don't have anything else as far as that goes. But I took 2 days off. Tomorrow I'll be back on again. And I'm going to figure out a set time to do this also, so it's not just these random, like at midnight or 10 p.m. or whatever. I may do it during the day when I'm eating lunch, so you can watch me eat lunch. But let me know if any of these tips are helping anyone. Let me know if they make sense. And let me know what your favorite part was. Oh, and if you like this episode or any of the previous episodes, please like and share and head on over to my YouTube channel. I should put a link in here to that, but yes, I'll get to that in just a second. Yeah, and subscribe on YouTube, because I've got my YouTube channel. These are actually going at the same time. And YouTube requires a stupid amount of subscribers now to get a personal URL. Apparently you have to be popular or something. Great. So Yuri, yes, for me, stretching helps a lot before bed. Yuri was wondering if stretching helps. The only reason it helps me is because the way I do it involves breath work and contraction and relaxation and all of that. But stretching in general makes me feel better and more relaxed. It's kind of like I'm not doing yoga, but it's sort of like, if you think about it like that, and even if you've never done yoga, just watched it and seen it, right? You see those people in there when they come out, they're just all like blissed out, like, ooh. Whether it was a really difficult one or a really easy one, they're just like, ooh. So it works for me similar to that. Plus, the benefit is I get more flexible. And I'm going to start being more diligent about going through my entire routine. And I'm putting together a 21-day program for that too, for myself to test, to see how flexible I can get in 21 days. Because I recently, I found this stretching program online. I was like, oh, this looks amazing. And it was only $27, so I was like, cool. And literally, it was almost identical to what I'd created myself, with a couple other little kind of cool things in it. But I was like, oh, well, I'm doing this already. I can just make a couple tweaks to my own program and optimized. And that's what we do. Find what works and adapt it to work for you in the most efficient, effective way possible. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, it does. I would say try it. And try just doing some light stretching. Cut off all the technology an hour before, and then try doing some light stretching, and see how you feel afterwards and how well you sleep. So, with that said, again, like, share, subscribe, all those fun things. And tomorrow night, we'll be doing it again, or tomorrow day. And like I always say, have an amazing day, because it's better than the alternative. Talk to you guys soon.